Okay. Basic functions may basically, obviously the first thing is you should know is that this is a cell. Okay. How do you name a cell? Right click, define name, and you can name it as, let's say, V. Okay. Now the advantage is obviously if you come here and you type V, it will take you there. Okay. इसी तरह you can do select a
जी
range. You can define the range. इसको name कर दो, let's O, whatever, like O. Now if you come here, anywhere, and if you want to go to O, here you go. So you can name a range, you can name a cell, but we'll talk afterwards why do we name it. Achha, this is your formula.
राइट सर
This is your formula bar, which is known as the function bar.
जी
Okay. Right, the basic
जी
thing. You have built-in functions such as the sum. You have to use is equal to. Okay, this means this
जी
cell is equal to the following function. What do you have here? You just need to
जी
select the range. So you have to select from here till here. If you enter, obviously it gives you this value, because what you're doing is you're adding them up. So let's say if I write 66 here or whatever, it's added because sum adds the values in the range. Same way, average obviously will calculate the average, right? Obviously, the text
जी
that you have is not considered. Empty cell be considered nahi hote. Okay. What does count do? But the most important, count basically counts the cell which have basically numbers. Now, why is it giving us 4? Okay, because basically this is not count, this is count A. Let me talk about count. Count gives me 3. Why count is
जी
giving me 3? Because there are 3 values in this range, 1, 2, and 3.
only
Agree?
tells you the value
Exactly. Count will count the values. Okay. If you want to count everything, you have count A, count all. But
okay
why am I not getting 5? Because one cell is empty. Okay.
okay
And if you want to count blank, you use count blank. Why
wait
one?
what is blank
There's one blank cell in this range. See,
okay
one null value. So that's
ठीक
why
है
it's giving me count blank, because there's one empty cell, right? So
जी
obviously if I delete one more, it will give me 2. But remember one thing, if I add a space over here, space is not a null value. You see, looks like as if it's empty, but it's not. If I
okay
delete the space, here we go, 2 aa gaya, right? So
जी
till count and count A, is it clear?
clear
Very good. Max क्या है? Max होता है maximum value,
maximum value
maximum, largest, tallest, जो भी होगा इसका synonym. It will display
जी
you that the maximum of these values. Let's say मैं 24 लिख देता हूँ यहाँ, or I write this. It shows me the maximum value. जो भी maximum value होगी.
okay
Min is the minimum value.
value
Minimum, examiner will not always say minimum. वो कहेगा shortest, smallest, thinnest, whatever. The same synonym of that. ठीक है?
ठीक है
Right? So you have to be careful what they did. Let's discuss if and nested if. The next one. If होता है, it's a conditional. If you have a condition, let me change the condition again. इसको मैं delete करता हूँ. And the condition says over here is if this is greater than 80, okay, and then I can replicate this. So I just get one good, क्योंकि if it's greater than, if I say greater than
90
if I say greater than equal to, then what happens? I get 2 good. This concept where,
okay
do you see what's happening? I have A2, and if I come down, क्या हो रहा है? A3, A4, A5, A6. देख रहे हो? This is
जी
basically known as
जी
your relative referencing. Why we call it relative? Because relatively it's increasing by 1. Okay,
okay
relatively. There is another concept that if you select this and if you hit F4, do you see dollar sign has been added?
जी.
अच्छा, now if I replicate this, what's happening is look at A2.
Good.
It's not changing because I have locked it.
जी.
So just remember, there is a way that we can lock it, and the short key for that is F4, and this is known as absolute referencing. I will talk about this later on. बस ये याद रखो कि all the ranges that you will have, all the ranges that you have will always be locked.
जी.
ठीक है, बस एक
ठीक.
सिंपल सा रूल है. So what's happening over here is I have is a condition. हाँ,
हर इसको हमने लॉक में ही रखना है.
हमने इसको लॉक में रखना है, बिल्कुल सही. So my logical test क्या है? My logical test is A2 is greater than 80. So if has comma true and comma false. So if you want, if this condition is true, this will happen. If it's not true, this will happen. So इसलिए good is appearing because the statements are true, but why is not appearing? Because I have 70 and 70 is not greater than 80. So that's why. This is your simple if. ठीक है?
Okay.
Why do we need nested if? The reason why we need nested if is because we want multiple condition. One condition for this, for this, for this, for this, and this. ठीक है ना? The first condition is if the statement is true, I want A. ठीक है? I want A.
A.
Right? If this, okay, obviously if के साथ I have a false statement as well.
जी.
So if I specify the false statement, तो loop end हो जाएगा ना? It will not work. ठीक है? तो
जी.
instead of the false value, I use another if. फिर if this is greater than 80 तो B हो. Again comma के बाद no false के बजाय I use another if. I keep on going. Last
जी.
if में this is my condition, this is my true, this is my false, this is my false statement.
Okay.
Yes or no? This is my false statement. अच्छा,
तो
what
ये
does it mean?
formulas यानी कैसे ये ये याद करने पड़ेंगे formulas?
नहीं ये देखो बात सुनो, it's very simple thing. You will just do one paper with me और 2 पेपर आपको खुद ही याद हो जाएगा. इसमें कोई मुश्किल याद होने करने की बात ही कोई नहीं है यार. देखो, whenever you type any function is equals to if, ठीक है ना, ब्रैकेट डाला, देखो you are getting all the syntax yourself. आपने सिर्फ वैल्यूज देनी है. कोई easy बात है, it's very common sense. So you don't have to
Okay.
cram anything. You will know it how to do it. It's not complicated. अभी सब समझ लो, apply बाद में कर लेंगे.
ठीक.
So if this condition is true, do this, comma, बस ये commas का ख्याल रखना, that's it. तो failed का मतलब ये है कि
Appreciate करें commas.
हाँ, failed का मतलब ये कि all of these condition अगर true नहीं होती, then failed will come. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, none of this is true. That's why failed is coming. Why? See over here, 50. Has 50 been defined here? नहीं ना.
No.
50 has not been defined here now. So since 50 has not been defined here, so that's why failed is appearing. You get the point?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Abhi just try to understand. Have a look at it again. इसको एक बार देख लो.
जी.
Understanding is an important thing. Application is the second step. Application होगी when you solve the paper with me. But right now,
Okay.
we're just revising the functions. Okay. Okay. Let me go back. चलो अब count if में आ गया. That's good. Count if is one of the functions that is used to count कि मैंने यहाँ से count करना है how many times A series appearing. So let me rebuild it again. मैं क्या करूँगा? अब देखो तुम कहते हैं फंक्शन किसे याद करेंगे? It's very easy. Count if क्या कह रहा है? Give me the range. What range?
Yes.
From here till here. ठीक हो गया?
जी.
Okay. That's my range. Comma. Criteria क्या है? This. That's my criteria. Okay. अच्छा.
Okay.
अब ये तो मैंने अप्लाई कर दिया. अब मुझे तुम ये बताओ इसमें do I have to lock something?
No.
दोबारा सोच लो. अगर मैं इसको रेप्लिकेट करता हूं तो क्या होगा?
No, you have to log.
नहीं, क्या हो रहा है? अब देखो मेरी रेंज. अच्छा, कैन यू चेक द रेंज ओवर हियर?
जी.
क्या रेंज पे? चेक द रेंज.
1.
नो आई एम सेइंग इसमें रेंज क्या आ रही है?
Uh, A4 to A11.
Is it right?
No. Yes,
It's,
is right.
no, it's wrong. देखो ना, A4 to A11 क्या है?
हाँ.
What is
Del.
my range? My range is A2 to A9. Range
Okay.
में क्या है? Where do I have the make? Where do I have the make? Yes or no? ठीक है? So the range
जी.
is not good. Range बाहर आती जा रही है ना? तो I need a way के
जी.
I always want to find from the range. यहाँ तो range ठीक थी शुरू में over here. Here my range was fine.
जी.
A2 to A9. So since I did not lock it, relative referencing means that all the cells will increment on their own. तो यहाँ क्या हुआ है? A3 to A10, so on and so forth, तो increase होता जाएगा.
10.
So then what
जी.
we need to do? We
So I
need
have to
to
change it.
we have to lock the range. F4.
Okay.
So replicate. Now tell me what is changing and what is not.
Nothing is changing.
No, changing हो रहा है. What is changing? Formula में देखो.
Cell. E17,
Exactly.
E16.
वो E17, E16 में क्या है?
Answer.
E17, E16 में you have is this Acer, Dell, Sony, you have these, okay? You have the following.
J.
So exactly, it's telling me criteria what you're trying to count. I'm trying to count Acer from here. Okay.
Okay.
What am I trying to count? E16.
Dell.
I'm trying to count Dell
Dell.
from here. What am I trying to count? E17. E17. What do I
Sony.
have? Sony. I'm trying to get Sony from here. So this is why we need to have is absolute referencing and relative referencing.
Okay.
Point. This is relative and this is absolute. Yes or no? Have a look at it again. Make sure it's clear. मैं देखो बात सुनो. Abdurrahman, the important rule is ठीक है, मैं मानता हूँ तुम्हारे पास टाइम नहीं है, but the point is उतना करें कि जितना आपको digest होगा, ठीक है? Okay?
जी.
और आपको 100% समझ भी आए. After I've done this, I will share the video lecture. You go through it again, and before the next lecture that I have, you view it again.
जी.
मेरी बात समझे हो?
Okay. जी.
ठीक है ना?
जी.
जी. Look at the formula एक बार देख लो. And honesty is the best policy, okay? Honesty is the best policy. Just let me know. ठीक है, आगे चलूं?
जी sir.
Okay. So what we have next is we discuss this. Let's discuss is counted. Discuss कर लिया हमने. ये बड़ा आसान काम है, तो मुश्किल नहीं है Excel. Don't be afraid. अच्छा, lookup discuss कर लेते हैं. Okay. We'll just discuss lookups. Lookup is very very important. You don't get a questions में lookup ना आता हो. हर paper में lookup आया हुआ है. Just have a look. What do I have over here?
You have ranges.
Yeah, I have over here, just 1 second. I have this grades. Okay, I have this percentage of maths. I have this percentage of ICT and a percentage of physics. Okay, I have this is a grid for grades. फिर मेरे पास different names है and I have grades of students. मैं find करना चाहता हूँ कि if I enter the grades तो उनके percentage of ICT क्या होंगे? मतलब I want to see कि ICT में A कितनी percentage है, A की, B की है, C की है, which means I want to compare this with this. I want to compare the grades with this.
Yes, grades with percentage.
Exactly. So what I'll do is I'll use VLOOKUP and
VLOOKUP
lookup value क्या? Exactly, vertical lookup. Very good. I want to find out the lookup value. This is my lookup value, comma, this is my lookup value. Okay, it says table array.
Okay.
Table array is the entire table array, but not including the field names, because field names are not part of my data. Field names को मैं include नहीं करूँगा. मेरी बात समझो ना?
Okay.
Always remember,
जी जी.
field names are not part of my
Not
data.
included.
ठीक है? So I've selected
जी.
that. अच्छा, ये बात याद रखना कि I will select the range and I will hit F4, क्योंकि मैंने रूल कहा है कि ranges will always be locked. जहां भी रेंज
Okay.
आएगी उसको लॉक करना, बस
तो लॉक
रूल
कर देता हूँ. ठीक है.
ठीक है. फिर वो कहता है देखो, I have defined the lookup value, I have
जी.
defined the table array, comma.
जी.
अब वो कहता है कि from which column index number, which column number do you want to extract the data from, या दूसरे words में which column holds your answer. So 1, 2, 3. Third column has ICT का result ना.
जी.
So I will say is comma 3. And comma 0 is for the exact match. बस अब comma 0 लिखा करो for the exact match. So what happens? 85. इसको replicate करते
कॉमा
हैं.
जीरो हमने क्यों लगाया था सर?
Exact match.
Okay.
Exact match. तो देखो, B has 75.
Okay.
B has 75. True. C has 65. Yes, C has 65. True. Now, why am I getting NA? NA, if it comes, it's fine because I have R and R is not defined here.
Okay.
Now, since R is not defined here, it is
So
giving me
it
NA.
won't show it.
It won't show it. So this
Okay.
doesn't mean it's an error. So the examiner is just trying to test you. Examiner wants to know that do you have this much knowledge that you can keep on doing the paper? Okay. So he's testing you at times. Okay. So NA did
Okay.
come in some of the papers. It doesn't mean that it's a problem and you start rectifying it. No, you don't do that. इतनी जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है. अच्छा, इसको एक और बार बेटा, just have a
जी.
look at the syntax and have a look at VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is the most important.
Okay.
Syntax को देखो क्या किया है, take your time, इसको देखो और मुझसे पूछो.
Lookup value grades.
ठीक है.
Table array information I need, and column index is the table number and
अच्छा,
range. Okay sir.
remember one thing कि जो आपके पास lookup value है ना, it's a single value.
जी.
It's not a
तो हम
range. So
पूरे उसको क्या नाम है, उसको पूरे उसको नहीं लेंगे,
नहीं
यानी
लेंगे,
सबको नहीं लेंगे, सिर्फ एक
नहीं
को
लेंगे.
लेंगे.
अब्दुल रहमान,
ठीक है.
वैसे बताऊं, you are intelligent. Okay, you're not bad.
जी.
I can tell by the questioning. So inshallah, you just need to be focused. You should know what you have to do, and you will do well.
जी.
Okay, get the point? And
जी.
prove it just in just a month time. You can easily get a year star. You can prove it yourself. Okay, it's
Okay.
just how much dedication you want. And जब लाइफ में कुछ चीज अचीव करनी होती है तो बंदा खुद ही कर लेता है.
जी.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so ये हो गया आपका VLOOKUP. इसी तरह H lookup है. H lookup is basically horizontal lookup. H lookup basically is, for example, पहले your data was displayed vertically. Now data is
जी.
displayed horizontally. Obviously,
Horizontally.
if it's horizontally displayed, you have to use H lookup. So let me delete this. And what I'll do is I'll use is equals to H lookup. My lookup value is what? What I'm trying to look for? I'm trying A. ठीक है, comma. सिर्फ ये transpose हो गया है. Instead of vertical, it's horizontal. तो इसमें confusion वाली बात नहीं है. Table array. This is my table array. Again, I'm not selecting the field names. और again, my rule says कि मैं range को करूँगा lock. तो वही रहेगा ना. फिर वो कहता है give me the row index number. Now I want for maths. तो maths किस row में है? First row में तो grades है, second row में maths है. Third row में ICT है, fourth row में physics है. So if I want to find for maths, I need to have over here is comma 2 and comma 0 for the exact match. हमेशा याद रखना.
And 0.
0 करना ही करना है. अच्छा, now the important thing is range को lock करना बहुत जरूरी है. Don't forget that. There are some rules you have to remember. So इसको मैं करूँगा replicate this way, and you can check A, B, C सारे आंसर सही आ रहे हैं. This is
जी.
your horizontal lookup.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yes.
ठीक है. अच्छा.
जी.
वेरी गुड. मैंने काफी फास्ट आपसे रिवाइज कर लिया है. यू नॉट बैड. अच्छा, सम इफ कर लेते हैं. सम इफ क्या है? फिर आई विल स्टॉप. सम इफ बेटा इज वन ऑफ दैट रेंज जिसमें यू विल ऑलवेज हैव टू रेंजेस. फॉर एग्जांपल मैं फाइंड करना चाहता हूँ कि अली का टोटल स्कोर क्या है, मतलब दिस प्लस दिस प्लस दिस प्लस दिस.
Yes, plus
नाउ
this.
आई नीड टू कंपेयर दिस कॉलम विद दिस कॉलम. So let me
Okay.
construct it with you. पहले I'll give the range. Range मतलब product names or whatever. So I select the range
Okay.
and I hit F4 because range को मैं lock करूँगा हमेशा. Criteria
Okay.
मतलब criteria means what am I trying to find. मैं किसको sum करना चाह रहा हूँ? अली को. अली जहाँ भी पीर हो रहा है.
जी.
The cell reference E7 में अली है ना? Comma some range.
जी.
Some range obviously numeric wherever I have numbers. So some range obviously text का तो नहीं हो सकता ना. So it will always be
नहीं.
numeric. So I select this and again I hit F4
Okay.
and I replicate. ठीक है. अगर ये if नहीं भी है, so it gives me the answer. So क्या कर रहा है? It's doing this plus this plus this plus this.
जी.
Even if
Plus
this
this.
was a
Plus
very
this.
long list, it would have worked. So it's calculating this for Basit. Okay.
Right, sir.
And it's calculating this for sine. So that's the way it works. This is sum if.
Right.
So two ranges. One range is this and one range is this. Right?
Okay.
Acha.
Right.
What have we discussed today? Mashallah, speed was very good. अगर आप मुझे stop करते, but I will test you afterwards. We discussed was basic functions we started from. We talked about count. We talked about sum,
Count A.
average, count A, count blank, right? Max, min.
Min.
Yeah. And why am I typing this?
If.
I will do it after every end of every class because it's revision. Okay. Then we discussed was simple if, then nested if either if. Okay. Then we discussed was count if. We discussed V, lookup,
Lookup. Age lookup.
H, lookup. Then we discussed
Sum if.
was sum if. Just 30 minutes lecture में we have discussed frankly ये सारे syllabus के points हैं. माशाल्लाह.
जी.
अगर आपको समझ आ गई तो very good. मगर obviously in the next class, अगली class में ही I will start solving a paper with you.
Okay.
अगली class में Thursday को I will solve a paper with you. फिर आपने वही पेपर solve करके मुझे वापस भेजना है. ठीक है? फिर मैं अगली क्लास में एक और पेपर सॉल्व करूंगा एक्सेल का. और फिर कब करोगे? फिर हम एक और मॉड्यूल स्टार्ट कर लेंगे. तो हम दो क्लासेस एक मॉड्यूल को दे रहे हैं और इंशाल्लाह फिर मैं आपको ओवरऑल एक टेस्ट भी लूंगा.
ठीक है.
ठीक है? राइट. तो मैं वीडियो शेयर करता हूं. इफ देयर इज सम पॉइंट यू डोंट गेट, तुमने मुझे अगली क्लास में बताना है कि सर आई डिड नॉट गेट दिस, कैन वी टॉक अबाउट दिस अगेन बिफोर वी स्टार्ट द पास्ट पेपर. ठीक है?
ओके सर.
राइट बेटा. वेरी वेल डन. वेरी वेल डन. सो थर्सडे को सेम टाइम. ओके.
ठीक है सर.
राइट. ओके बेटा. वेरी वेल डन. अल्लाह हाफिज़.
ओके.